I will have to apologize if I sneeze, if I sound funny, and we will edit out any gross noises that come.
Not. Of course we will not.
It's only fitting that I'm sitting here, a hot mess, disgusting, snotty hot mess, when we're going to talk about dating.
First of all, I cannot believe that we are going to do this cold turkey.
Dude, yes, it is. What time is it? It's before noon, so it's inappropriate to drink, as my mother would say. We've been trying to record this one for a few days. Because of my allergies, we haven't. So I'm doing this sober.
Me too. So much fun. I'm going to be probably the positive one, right? Let me prepare everybody who's listening. I think that the reason why we decided that this is going to be the first thing that we are going to talk about is because this was initially our bond. This is how you and I kicked off our friendship. We talked about men and we talked about dating, and it was a decade ago, right? And I think that the majority of women can actually relate on different levels through different situations and experiences. And you and I always looked at it from the fun perspective.
You have to look at it from one perspective. Otherwise, you're going to throw yourself in the ocean. Goodbye, cruel world. Churum boom, in the pool, like my sister would say. Yes, I've been dating since I was 15. In a sense, right? Because back then it wasn't really dating. You had a boyfriend. Dating, like I kicked it off when I lived here for a year where I was like, I'm going to just go and date everybody and anybody who asks me out.
To interrupt you, that was the first time when you started using apps?
No, I started using apps, I want to say 2011. I know that when I went to work in Australia, I got picked up from the airport by a quote unquote date because I had already sussed that out. Some match, whatever, go pick me up. And that, I think that was 2011. Yeah, I used that when I was in Australia, but that was because that had an intent. My intent was to find someone that would marry me so I could stay in Australia. That was my plan.
Fair enough. Always important to have a plan.
Yeah.
So basically, you were on apps for, if you look at it from that point till now, almost 15 years.
Oh my God, my dating life as a teenager. No wonder it's going the way it's going. Actually, it's not going anywhere. My dating life is going anywhere. No. This is why this episode is going to be called Dating After the Disaster. The disaster can be different things for different people, right?
The big question here is, do we even want this anymore? I'm going to be the optimistic one. Yes, we do.
Yeah. Okay. Let me first define my disaster, and then you'll see my answer to, do I even want this anymore, will make more sense. My disaster moment came as I was giving my number to someone in person, right?
Old-fashioned,
old school, yes. And as he started typing my number in his phone, my name came up. And I realized, oh my God, you already have my number. And I looked at his face and I was like, I don't even know who you are and you have my number. And then when I walked back to the people I was with, one of them said, of course he has your number, Wanda. You've dated everybody here. And that's when I realized I had come full circle, that I had actually swiped right and left to where I had reset my life. And I was again in 0.0. And then after that, I think it just started going downhill from there. Not to say that I didn't still use dating apps, but definitely not Tinder after that. That's when I was done.
Yeah, I think that most of the people got,
that was it.
Yeah.
So, having lived in a very small city, attached to a bigger city, and having dated every single available man at the time that, of course, ticked my requirements. And then that was shortly followed by COVID. which gave us not having to make excuses for wanting to be alone and enjoying to be alone and not having to be around people and please stay away an arm's length from me. I then came out of that at an age where I absolutely cannot be bothered. I don't want to do it, even though I tried last year, 2 years ago. It's been 2 years since then. So no, I definitely do not want to do it. I feel that at this time, I'd rather reminisce. I've been dating since I was 15. I was married twice. I have dated so many nationalities, so many religions, so many statuses, so much age difference, younger, older, the same. And I can conclude that I am the own love of my life. You are a love of my life. My girlfriends are the love of my life. My pets. I don't want to date. Unless Pedro Pascal comes knocking at my door.
I, knowing you, also know if right man appears out of nowhere,
because he doesn't exist.
who is ticking the boxes, but you are not so much about the boxes. You are also very emotional. You're driven by feelings. You're Latina, right? This is all going to be like water under the bridge.
No, I feel like at our age, it's not even attraction anymore. It's emotional regulation. It's not chemistry. It's cortisol. There's so many things. I don't know. I don't know. I know that when you're young, you have idealistic of what you think, and you have these lists and you have these must-haves. And then as you start getting older, and I'm not even talking about being in your 50s, I'm talking about just maturing, you realize that maybe some things you're willing to overlook or to renumber on your list. It really depends on if you get married and you have children, or if you have children, versus as you get older, if you're single. And then I think things change. And then it gets to a point where you're like, I'm in a position right now where the only reason I would want to have a man is for the company.
That is not, I want to wake up next to you every morning.
Oh, God, no.
There you go, right? The way we actually are changing and evolving over time, you are more looking for quality companionship. Let's do something. Let's go for a short trip. Let's go to theater or just date dinner and sex, of course. But then please go home. Yes,
And
to
use
your own bedroom, so I can still have this idealistic vision of you.
Please go make those noises in the comfort of your own home.
Because let's be honest, we know that the noises are something that we all make, and just don't be that close to me. And I'm fine with that. I would actually really like my space, but it's okay. What I think, and based on my experiences, even when you go with that and you're completely honest and open about this, men do not like it.
If you meet someone and you're like, I'm at the point of my life where I wanted to
hear, this is what I want. This is what would make me very comfortable and relaxed. And this is where I would be the best version of myself with you. Men don't like it.
Well, okay.
And you would think,
Give me an example.
You would think that they would be like, oh, I'm perfectly fine with that, but because then they are not getting into your life deeply, into your maybe challenges, problems, and
yeah. No, they no.
Because then they're like, you're not serious about their immediately drama starts. And it's like very confusing for me at this time, because along the way, we were brought up with this perception that we as females are the ones who are starting drama and bringing drama into the relationships. And then somehow all this drama, I feel not appreciated. I feel not needed. I feel, And I'm constantly trying to say, I want a man, I want a partner, I don't need you, right? Because I have everything figured out. The system is working. That doesn't mean that I don't want to be adored and given attention and all that, because that is something that we as females are actually missing. I think that there are men who would appreciate that somewhere in the world, right?
Somewhere far away.
Because majority of men would say, "Oh, I love mature women who
No, they
have
don't.
their shit together," and then the drama comes
No,
from
they
their
don't.
side.
They do not. No, they do not. No, they don't. I've thought it all. I've tried to be I'm going to let you do your own thing and I do my own thing and then we'll just hook up. Then it's not enough. Then I try to be I'm going to try to be the wifey one. That doesn't work. I've been the other woman. I've been the woman cheated on. Every scenario of what a relationship can look like, I have done. And quite frankly, I rather stay home with my cat and my dog than just the idea of actually having to go out and interact, because I'm done with apps, right? That's it.
Yes.
Dating apps is like LinkedIn for freaking trauma. Done with apps. If I don't meet someone through friends or meeting or someone or eye contact or in person or bumping into someone, that's it. I deleted them from my phone when I replaced them with that app that used to tell us the COVID thing. That's it. I'm done. So you know how long it's been. So unless it happens that way, I really don't. I think that the disaster for me, I'm beyond that. What's your disaster? At what point in time did you start approaching dating differently?
I did not give up, but I think that my mindset completely changed. When did it change? I don't know. Coming from Serbia and pretty traditional surroundings, I did not date when I was 15. I started dating when I was 18. And it was not dating. It was a boyfriend. And then again, boyfriend, heartbreaks between and stuff like that. So basically my life was till I was maybe 32. It was long-term relationships where I was not happy. I was in love, but after that initial chemical reaction,
The dopamine left your body.
then I realized that I'm not happy. Then you move on. And I think that when I was around maybe 32, I actually embraced the fact that I want to try to be single. That was the first time that I was learning to be by myself, to understand the difference between being alone and feeling lonely. Because while I was growing up, I didn't understand the difference. And then I started dating. And it was casual here, there, and then I got pregnant.
Wait, you weren't dating while you were pregnant?
Oh my God. When I gave birth and I started adjusting myself to the single mom life and all that, there was a period of time where I was thinking that I need to find a father figure for my child. That should be my next partner.
You did that for a long time.
Yes. And that did not turn out good. After 40, that's the first time I actually joined the apps. For the past decade, I had a couple of relationships, not a huge success as we know. But what was interesting, I picked my partners that way that I knew that this is not gonna survive. That's why usually I was going for younger partners. There is a tricky part. You are completely at a stage when you are fulfilled from career perspective, from financial perspective, and they are starting feeling, oh, I'm not good enough.
They're not.
And then it goes from I'm not good enough, you are making me feeling not good enough. So basically they start hating me, from loving me to hating me. But what was interesting that I actually unpacked with my therapist is that I did that deliberately because I thought I need to stay alone. Bringing somebody in would be very traumatic for my child and for the whole system that I built. So this is the way it's safer that I'm by myself. And on top of that, I was punishing myself for doing things unconventionally. You cannot run from the way you were brought up, the things that are deeply carved in your mentality and brain. So it took a lot of therapy. And now I'm at a stage where if it happens, awesome. If it doesn't happen, that's okay. But what I realized, I'm not angry anymore. That's why I approach everything completely different. So I'm open to meet new people. I can go on a date. That can happen only when I'm really in the mood for it. I do not force myself anymore. When I feel like it, when I want to dress up, when I feel like socializing, having conversation, engaging, then I do it. And what I noticed, when I meet people, I'm not in that place where I overthink, where I'm immediately pulling out my heavy artillery, the guns, right? No, I'm like, it's okay because we're all human and we are going through everything, but that doesn't mean that we need to go together because I dealt with my shit on my own. And I would appreciate someone who is dealing with their shit by themselves.
So, what kind of love feels attractive now versus before?
I'm at the stage where I would love to have somebody around with who I could experience something new.
Where before you didn't care?
And before I was like, I'm just content with the fact that I have maybe attention and love and I should be quiet.
I just want someone who's rich.
Which is fair, right? Because unfortunately, with the money comes all that. Let's travel, let's explore, let's go do this, let's go see that. I think that I would love somebody who, at the end of the day, at least equal.
Yes, let's start with that. You're right. At least equal. I had dated oh my God, when I lived in the DR, I loved dating me a broke motherfucker. I was like, bring on the scrubs. TLC, I'm not listening to your song, even though it's the 90s and we all have the same eyebrows. Bring on your needy, your poor, your unemployed musician, your dude who doesn't have a car, who sleeps on a mattress on the floor. Bring them to Wanda. She wants to meet all of them. Talk about effort. Let's talk about the lack of effort. Let's talk about what we think is effort, which is completely different from what people we date think is effort. And that you can see it after the first date is the fact that you did 10 things to get ready for this date, 10 as a female 10. And they can involve getting ready, beauty, waxing, whatever it is that you do. And then maybe 2 or 3 things where you organize the babysitter and you went and walked your dog and you worked your schedule around everything. Because I don't have kids and I still have to do that. And you made sure that you're thinking ahead and you're like, maybe we go out for drinks. So let me move that meeting tomorrow morning till 10 instead of 9 in case I need some more time, blah, blah, blah. And then he picks you up and he doesn't have any. He doesn't even.
Which is, from my perspective, absolutely ridiculous because even if I want to invite you for drinks, I already have plans. We are going to go there. I already made the reservation if it's needed. This is the vibes we are going for.
Yes, I'm a girl. We're not talking about girls. We're talking about dudes.
But I'm telling you, so I think that at this point, I want someone, when it comes to this, I want him to plan a date.
Think about it. And I know how you've dated, and I know how you used to come visit me and date. And think about the time when there is no effort, nothing. You get in the car, you're like, what are we doing? Oh, I don't know. I thought we'd just drive around. Excuse me?
Oh my God. Do you remember? He starts driving and I start thinking we are heading somewhere. We did head somewhere. We went to one of those coffee shops where servers are coming to your window to ask you what you want. And I'm like
not even a drive-through because there's
no. So he was like, what would you like? And I was like, yeah, I will have coffee. And he orders a coffee. And then he started driving again. And we were driving in the car for an hour.
And that was your date. And you could have easily walked downstairs and sweat.
And I was like, okay. And he's so, what do you feel like now? And I'm like, I feel like I want to go home.
I feel like a meal in a public place. I feel like the fact that I put on makeup, did my hair, ironed this dress, I'm wearing heels. I need to show it off somewhere. And I feel like a little bit of effort, just a tiny bit. Basically, all you did was, you could have put a dog there and opened the window. You stick your head out.
I came up to the apartment pretty confused. What'd you think?
Home and my animals were like, the fuck are you doing home so early? And I don't know. No effort. Is it laziness? Is it lack of imagination? Is it that they're dating so many women?
Yes.
That they're
like that. If you want it, this is what I can give you. This is my bare minimum. And obviously bare minimum is passing. So if you don't like it, bring another one. And with the social media and the apps, the availability is there.
Okay, if this was supposed to convince me to date, it's not.
Then, when I tried to date that single dad,
yes,
he was ticking all boxes. We saw each other, remember, for your birthday, completely unplanned. And he was like, I cannot wait for our date, for this to happen and all that. He canceled on me literally 10 minutes before I was supposed to get in the taxi. I realized that he actually is not looking to date. He went through a lot with his marriage, with his divorce, with everything that is happening with the kids, and finding somebody who is in maybe a similar situation, it gave me him freedom to unload. I said, look, I fully understand. This is not coming from the angry place or bitchy place or whatever. I'm not trying to be that. And it's interesting how we women need to prepare our audience when we want to speak our mind, that we are not frustrated, emotional.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't need that because I have my thing going on and it's great, but it's stress all the time, which is completely normal. And then when I meet someone, I want to actually disconnect and just relax and enjoy and laugh. It doesn't mean that we should not share sometimes things, but that should not be the focus. And he told me, you are very selfish and you are very dramatic and you are this and that and you're a needy bitch. Yes.
Okay, so do you think people's tolerances have gotten higher? Or do you think your standards are higher? Or do you think tolerance has just disappeared? Because for me, I feel that my standards may have slightly changed when it comes to the physical, but my tolerance level has dropped to the point where I can't deal with your bullshit. I can't deal with it. I give you 2 chances. I'm done. I can't. The questioning, the giving unsolicited advice, the mansplaining, I would rather serve myself a drink, sit on my couch, put something on Netflix, and just relax.
I think that the society is at a stage where, unfortunately, men insecurities are very high. A good reason for it, right? We evolved so much. We did so much so we can be calmer and more present and grounded. And we are putting a lot of work when it comes to this. And I think that probably in future, this is going to be on their table as well. because something needs to change. Because in past, we were taught, the generations before us, and even our generation, that serving man needs is bringing the peace in relationship. And then that's where he thrives, and that's where he's happy. And then he's happy that he will make you happy, and blah, blah, blah. Now we can make ourselves happy, right? And that is very tricky. But I know that I completely changed. That disappointment that I felt, it's gone.
Yes.
It's gone.
Because you know what's out there, right?
Yeah, I'm not bitter.
Yeah.
I'm prepared. I'm not judgmental. But if somebody needs work on themselves, it just needs to be done. I'm sorry.
I think it feels like if you had a second child, right? So
Yeah.
the first one, everything is shock when they go through things. And then the second one, you'd be like, that's to be expected. That's how you approach dating and men and intimacy now. Nothing else can actually surprise me. Nothing. And I don't know if we're lucky or unlucky enough to have been, because we're single, to have transitioned through dating, just like with tech. So our generation is very lucky to where we had tapes that you with the pencil when you had to rewind it, all the way to now having Claude and ChatGPT and all the other AI. Same thing with dating. You were lucky enough to, if a boy liked you, would pick up the phone and say, "Buenas noches, doña Agatha. How are you? Can I talk to Wanda?" And then click and have to speak to an adult to speak to you, to the point now where situationship, friends with benefits, hanging out, quote unquote.
Let's do Netflix and chill.
Yes. And we have seen it all, right? So I don't think there's anything about modern dating that can surprise me at this point. The first time I ever got a dick pic was surprising. Then I used to have them cataloged. Remember, I had folders and I had them in catalogs. And when someone would send me one, I'd be like, let me find one that's bigger. And then I'd send them mine back and be like, mine's bigger. Nothing surprises me anymore about modern dating. Is it even called dating? Can you consider it to be dating? Because, like you said, is there an effort made? I want to embrace my female energy that we've all left behind because we all had to put freaking pants on and become the men to be able to become the women we're today. And now we're too strong. We're too abrasive. We have to embrace the feminine power and sit down and let a man plan and take you and bring you flowers. But they're not doing that because they kind of liked it when we were on the other side and they didn't have to do anything. So what is dating today? Coming from someone that hasn't been on a date in 5 years? When was COVID? Yeah. 5, 6 years? I haven't been on a date. That may change soon, but that's a story for another time. But you went recently on a date.
Yeah, the Canadian was so much fun. I was constantly resetting him through the conversation. We need to have a date. That date could be drinks, could be coffee, which I don't like because I don't want to completely sober look at you for the first time. Because I'm going to scan you and this is going to be the end.
You need to have the hopes that alcohol gives us.
A little bit, right? I don't want to go on a dinner first time that I see you. I don't know. No, just drinks. Wherever.
I have gotten up from tables because of how you hold your knife and fork. And one time I was on a date and the dude said he didn't like cilantro. And I got up and I said, this will never work out. Threw some money on the table and I said, thank you, I'm leaving. Wait, what are you doing? And I said, we can't see each other anymore. You don't eat cilantro. Yo soy dominicana. How is that ever going to work? I'm going to have to pick things. I won't be able to cook. You won't be able to eat. For you, it tastes like soap. For me, it tastes delicious. I could never date someone who did not eat cilantro. End of story. I should put it on my dating profile then and there. So absolutely 100% with you. first dates, first meeting should never be with food. You need to assess the situation. A drink, coffee is acceptable.
Yes.
Because then you can get up and go, right? One drink is acceptable.
Yes.
When you have other plans and you can be, yeah, great to meet you, whatever. I used to date here where I would go have a date and then I meet you afterwards so that we could talk about it. But he thought that you wanted for him to plan a meal or something because he thought that you were after
money, which is ridiculous.
Because all men think, no, I'm sorry, not all men. Men think that all women are gold diggers. For me to dig your gold, cabrón, you have to have gold. You gotta reach for another wife. You can't just be making like $2,000 a month and be like, oh, you're a gold digger. Digger of what? Of your unpaid Netflix bill, your electricity? What the hell? Am I wrong? Okay, so I take it that the Canadian's out of the picture.
Yeah. So basically, he just thought that I'm very demanding.
But you're not. You just have expectations of what a date is.
I was like, I'm sorry if you look at it that way. I just had certain expectations at this point, which I do not think that they are massive. And it's great when you know what you want and, of course, what you don't want. And it makes it easier for everybody. So, yeah, I'm looking for a man who is not going to be frustrated with the fact that I want to dress, be pretty, be picked up. Oh, I want to be courted. I want somebody to try to woo me.
Yes.
That would be lovely.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That got lost. And it's not ever coming back with what's happening now with young people and stuff. It's never going to come back. I don't think so.
So I think that we should start looking in the senior retreat.
A couple of nights ago, we were out to dinner. I wanted to catch your attention so that you could see how I look with the grandpa next to me. At least we had money. That, I think, not to blame technology on everything, but I think everything shifted the moment cell phones and internet were at the palm of your hand.
Absolutely.
Right there.
Absolutely.
Instant gratification. Swipe on people as if back and forth. Only focus on 3 lines and a picture that you and I both know could be a picture from 20 years ago. Because at least my pictures were always up to date and what is what you get. Versus you showing up and saying, I'm sorry, where's your son?
Usually the topic that is out there is that men are the ones who are being deceived with the filter pictures and all that. Nobody's putting out there that we as females are also going through that constantly.
It's safe to say. So I put a little filter on and you meet me and I don't look the same. It's not the same as me going on a date with a man that could potentially drug me, that has anger issues, that comes to the date with bad intentions, if you even plan the date. I'm trying to think of effort. Not the same as meeting someplace. Let's meet for drinks at this. And then you meet. Actual effort that I went and I picked you up and this and that. And I'm going to take you out on a date, on a proper date where I don't know anything. Maybe Hollywood, maybe the movies have ruined that for us. Where just wear something pretty and I'll pick you up and you're like, oh my God, I'm so excited.
Because look, when I plan a date,
oh yeah, yes,
I do it all.
Yeah, I know.
I research.
Which is why the best dates you can ever have come from your girlfriends.
Look, do you know how many times I also took men on dates? And I paid. Full service. I come, I pick up, I tell him it's casual or it's elegant or this and then. The reservation is there. I know in the place where we want to sit.
Yeah, but that's also because you're a planner. You would do that. Yes, that's you. Yes. I don't think I would take it to that point. of knowing what, but you, yes. If you, after this, we go to lunch, I know you're going to know exactly where we're going, what we're eating, what we're drinking, which table we're sitting at, what we're facing, what's going to happen, because you've already planned it in your head. And that's a personality trait, and it's something fantastic. And I think as women, we tend to have a bit more of that than males. I feel that we have that little planning thing. And maybe it's because we take care of other people and, life depends on us, and that you always have to think ahead. But is that what you would want?
Yes.
For someone to
do that for me. That's why I enjoy it. For example, when you do something for me like that, I completely let go. And I'm just going with the flow.
Also because I have excellent taste.
Absolutely.
It has to, you know what? And you're going to hate me for saying this. And I know some of our Serbian girlfriends are going to hate me for saying this, where our friend Ines, who has always told me Serbian men don't date. They don't know how to date. But I went on tons of dates, and it was really funny because they knew I was a foreigner. So they knew as a foreigner I dated. So they would actually ask me out on dates. But I did go out on a lot of dates. Did they turn into second and third dates? No. Was there anything past that? No. But did they know how to properly ask out and plan? Yes. Thank television and the fact that I'm a foreigner. Thank you, Serbian guys, for all the restaurants. Thank you.
There's one thing that I was thinking about, and I think that maybe we could put it out there. What is the one thing you completely refuse to compromise at this stage?
No money. No money. Not having your own house. Not having your bills paid. Not being comfortable. No. Never will happen. Oh, another one. No therapy. I cannot be with anyone that non-therapized.
Yes. So the people generally who immediately say, I do not need therapy, I'm fine.
Yes.
You know that there is something behind. And that's
But you
fine.
need money to pay for therapy, so they come hand in hand.
Absolutely, yes. And I go with that. Some people will do it, some people will not, because they don't feel comfortable about it, but they will find a way which is going to be therapeutic for them to actually resolve certain issues and move forward. People who are not, that is not a therapy. That is more like you need to be self-aware and do the work on yourself. How you're going to do it, it's on you. Figure it out, find a way, that's perfectly fine. When it comes to the money, it's not about your security. Wanda, you're traveling all over the world and you are not traveling in the economy. Let's be honest. What I think that is behind that financial security and stability is the fact that will guarantee you that he will not be threatened and feel insecure next to you at a certain point. Because that is a very unattractive trait when it comes to men. For us.
Yes.
That's why
Look at you using everything you've learned in therapy for therapizing me. No, but you're right. No, it has to do with that. I can't. Small egos, big egos. I can't. I'm at the stage in my life where I chose not to have children. So why are you putting me in a position where I have to educate you? I shouldn't have to. No woman should have to. Unless you're both in your 20s and whatever. You come in a relationship as equals. So why should you, Snezana, be dating a guy that you need to teach him where the knife goes when you're setting a table? Why? Is it because that person didn't receive the same education? Then that person will never see the life the same as you. I think that we just shouldn't compromise anymore, even if it means not finding partnership, because we can find companionship in our friends, in our girlfriends, with our animals, with ourselves. I'm not willing to sacrifice a number of things just so that I'm not alone, because I'm never going to be alone.
Yes. What I also found it very useful for me to share, I can tell you the story because then I hear myself out loud. You will give me your point of view and your opinion, which is highly appreciated, right? We should make decisions on our own and deal with the consequences of these decisions on our own. Sometimes speaking out loud, I'm in this situation and this is happening. The moment you start speaking, you realize, oh my God, what I'm doing right now, I need to stop. So it is very important to find a way to share it with whoever you feel comfortable to share.
Yes.
For example, this episode reaches females who are maybe in the similar situation. And I think that if we all went through the similar situation, they would love to share because that would be awesome. This could be like a certain community where everybody feels safe and they can share without judgment. And we all made mistakes and we learned from those mistakes. And in majority of cases, we did not learn from those mistakes because we repeated them.
I'm not going to lie. I did go out on a couple of dates where people sat there watching me eat. The first time I felt really bad. The second time I was like, I guess this is a thing. I didn't have lunch. And then after that, I was like, all right, you drink your soda water and watch me eat. Because if you can't afford to take a girl out on a date, don't take it to an expensive restaurant. Just invite me out for a coffee, slice of pizza, €1, right? So it would be great also if we could share. Let's share funny stories too. Because you have to see
I don't think that this is going to fit one episode. This is going to be a topic that we are going to revisit.
We have to, because I may have a date when I go back home and you're still dating. So we're gonna share. Will make me eat my words. I doubt it. But
yes. So we're going to pick it up in the near future. In the meanwhile, people can listen to the episode on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. They can find
us on socials,
YouTube,
on TikTok and Instagram.
Yes, YouTube as well. We'll try to keep it up and make sure that we are there and we are available. And they can always DM us.
Slide into our DMs because no one else is.
There you go. Yeah. This was fun.
It's fun. Is it time for a drink? What time is it? Yeah, we can have a drink.
Okay, we're going to end this now and we are going to have our drink.
Let's go have a drink.
Yeah.